There is David Benavidez himself, El Bandera Roja. David, how are you, my man?
What's up, brother?
You're about a week and a half away from your fight coming up in your home area of Phoenix against the new opponent, Kyrone Davis. First of all, how you feeling and what's camp been like?
I'm feeling good, man. Since everything has been amazing since I came back, since I recovered from COVID. I got COVID 2 weeks before the last date, but I only lasted like about a week and feeling the symptoms or 2 weeks. So on the third week I started training. I've been training since then, man. So I have about almost 3 months and a half training, but I've been very motivated, working extremely hard, and I'm very excited. Unfortunately Uzcategui popped dirty for EPOs, but you know what? The show must continue, and then I still work extremely hard. So whatever opponent they give me, I'm ready for.
Well, what was it like, when you got back into the gym? Because COVID, and our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that has been dealing with COVID or who's had a loved one or a family member or a friend pass away due to COVID. But how did you respond when you got back into the gym? Did you feel any ill effects at all whatsoever in the gym, David?
Yeah, the first week I started running again, I felt like I had shortness of breath, but in my mind, I'm like a warrior, I try not to let things get to me too much. We were just drinking a lot of Pedialyte, taking vitamins, and after the first week I pushed through it and everything was good. Now, I'm sparring 13, 14 rounds, running 6, 7, up to, the runs I run, the most miles I ran this camp is probably like 10 miles. So everything is amazing right now.
So when you heard about the change in opponent that Uzcategui popped positive for EPO, what went through your mind? Because stylistically, they're different opponents in the fact that Uzcategui is completely different than that of Kyrone Davis.
I was a little bit disappointed, honestly, but that means that, Uzcategui, we had been drug tested like 4 times, already. So I think he was really just, trying to be really sneaky about it. I think last week when they hit us on the last drug test, I found out on Wednesday that he came out dirty for the steroids. So, honestly, it just tells me that these fighters are really scared of me, for him to mess up a really good paycheck, and not only that, a really good opportunity, because those are WBC and IBF title eliminator. So, he must have been really scared. But as for Kyrone Davis, I've been working with 3, 4 different sparring partners in the gym, and I spar 3 sparring partners when I'm in the ring too. So, I have to adapt to different styles. And everybody I sparred, their style is not, exactly like Uzcategui. I think their style is a little bit more like Kyrone Davis. Kyrone Davis, he's a boxer, but he doesn't use the ring too much. He doesn't box too much. So he's going to be there in front of me. Well, it's going to be a good fight, man. Hats off to him and his team as well. They took the fight on 2-week notice, and, definitely they deserve a lot of respect for that. But, I'm ready, man. I'm very excited. It's been my first fight with live crowd for since 2 years, since I fought Anthony Durrell.
Anthony Durrell at Staples Center.
Yeah, so it's been almost 2 years. So I'm just excited to be back having a live audience and the live crowd, and especially it's going to be Phoenix, Arizona, so it doesn't get any better than that.
Now, is this fight with Kyrone Davis still an eliminator fight for the IBF and the WBC? Have you gotten clarification on that or no?
No, it's not. They just changed it. Okay. They just changed it to a 10-rounder, and it's not WBC or IBF title eliminator. Which, honestly, in my opinion, it's not fair, too, because I did my part. I didn't do nothing wrong. And, Kyrone Davis, Jose Uzcategui is the one who took steroids, so, why should I be taking the opportunity away? But, that's my take on that. But it's just a regular 10-round fight now.
So do you feel any extra pressure to go out there and look spectacular to where there's no doubt that you are the number 1 contender for both titles, because all 4 belts are going to be unified this upcoming Saturday on pay-per-view between Canelo and Caleb Plant. So do you have any extra motivation to go out there, wipe this guy out to where there's no doubt that you are the number 1 contender?
I don't have any extra pressure on me, because in my mindset, whether it's title eliminator or not title eliminator, that's the way I am. That's the way I fight. I go and wipe people out, like how you say. That's how I like to fight, and I love to give the fans a good fight, and I train extremely hard for this fight. So, there's no pressure on me. You know, this is just the way I love to fight. And I'm even more motivated that it's going to be in Phoenix. There's no pressure at all.
We got you, David. Sorry, we lost you momentarily. What were you saying? That there's no pressure on you?
Am I good now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, no, I said there's no pressure on me, man, because at the end of the day, this is how I like to fight. I like to go out there and leave no doubts in anybody's mind that I'm the best. You know, whoever it may be. If it's against Kyrone Davis versus Uskateki versus Caleb Plant, Canelo, my job is still go out there and give the most violent performance as possible. You know, I love to go out there and stop people and, you know, just hurt people as much as possible. And I train extremely well for this fight, so this is how this fight's going to be. But there's no pressure on me at all. It's just, if anything, I'm very excited to come back to my city of Phoenix, Arizona, give the people a great fight.
I know you're a very proud family, man. You have a beautiful family. Your father's your trainer, but also you have your brother who's fighting on the co-main event. What does this entire event next Saturday, November 13th, in Phoenix mean to the entire Benavidez family?
It's a very big deal, honestly, bro. It's been a long time coming. You know, I haven't fought in the same car with my brother Jose Benavidez since like 6 years ago. The last time we fought together, I fought on his card. You know, so I mean, it just tells how long of a way we've came. You know, we've been working extremely hard forever. You know, and like I said, I feel like this is a start of something great. You know, this is the beginning of our career together again. You know, fighting on the same card. You know, he's with PBC, I'm with PBC, so there's a lot of great fights we could give, and there's a lot of fights we could take back to Phoenix, Arizona. You know, so we're definitely going to be making a lot of noise in this card.
David, is it crazy to think, when I was like looking at your bio, the fact that you're only still 24 years of age? I mean, I've known you for over 6 years now, and it's unbelievable that you're just 24 years of age. Do you feel like you're a young veteran?
I definitely feel like I'm a young veteran. That's why, like, I've been doing my best to look as good as I can to call out the big fighters, you know, because not no disrespect to anybody else, but I feel like I've earned the right and I've earned the spot to fight the big fights. And I've been professional almost 8 years. I've been WBC champion 2 times. You know, I was the youngest WBC champion ever, so I paid my dues. Whether I lost the belts outside the ring, that has nothing to do with inside the ring. Inside the ring, I've always done my job, I've always done my part, and I've always looked spectacular. So I definitely feel like a young veteran. So I feel like, you know, the big fights on the horizon. Next year is going to be my 9th year pro. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, wow. Man. I think in 2 years, I'm going to have 10 years professional already. So I still feel like I have another 15 years left in me. So, I mean, I feel like everything I've trained for, everything I've worked for is for this right now. You know, I feel like this is basically the beginning of my career. I've got a second win here. You know what I mean? I've got a second, you know, I'm you know, working extremely harder to make the fights happen, and all the fights that the people want to see and all the fights that I want to fight myself. So I'm very excited this coming the second half of my career.
I know you've done various interviews on the fight coming up on Saturday with Canelo, Alvarez, and Caleb Plant, but as we're about 4 days away from the fight, they had the grand arrivals today in Las Vegas. I didn't watch them, but, you know, can you tell me what are your thoughts as we're only days away until Canelo and Caleb Plant unify the super middleweight division?
I think it's going to be a great fight, man. Honestly, there's a lot on the line for both fighters. And I think Caleb Plant is going to do good for the first half of the fight, but then I think the experience of Canelo is going to just take over. I don't think Caleb Plant has the power to keep Canelo off of him. But like I said, it's not me that's, you know, I don't have Caleb Plant's style, so it's up to Caleb Plant to use his tools to see what he can do. You know, I feel like with Canelo, you have to have power equivalent to his own to keep him off of him and stand your ground, and I don't think Caleb Plant has that. But we'll see. You know what I mean? It's we'll see what he's about. You know, all that talk, you better back all that talk up, you know, and we'll see what happens, but it's going to be a great fight.
I know that there's always been a rivalry between you and Caleb Plant, but are you rooting for one guy or the other? I mean, does it not matter to you, because you all are alpha males, you know, at the super middleweight division, within the top ranks of the division? So are you rooting or leaning one way or another? Does it not matter to you as to who wins?
No, I'm not rooting for anybody. I want to fight both of them. You know, so I feel like I'm in a good position either way, because you know, potentially I could make a fight with both of them. So I don't know. Honestly, my sights are on the belts. My last fight was the WBC title eliminator, so I feel like I'm number one or number two for the WBC. So I mean, hopefully I get an opportunity again after this, or for the IBF or whatever, man. I'm ready for whatever, but I'm not going for anybody for this fight. I'm just excited to watch the fights and see what happens.
So on that night, you got Anthony Durrell, a former guy, a guy that you fought and stopped against, Mark Hernandez as well. So, the super middleweight division over the next few weeks is going to be highlighted front and center on worldwide television.
Yeah, and shouts out to all those guys in the super middleweight division. I mean, I feel like we have the super middleweight division is hot right now. It's been hotter than it's been in the past couple years, and there's a lot of good fights to be made here, bro. And I'm glad, we're getting a light shed on the super middleweight division, because there's a lot of great fighters and a lot of great fights to be made. So I'm looking forward for the future.
I got asked this question on social media, David, but they asked me what I think the deepest division is, and I said 168 pounds and 147 is second. The reason why I say that, David, is because all of you, you have Canelo and Caleb Plant this weekend on pay-per-view. You were willing to fight Uzcategui. Everybody seems to be willing to fight each other and without hesitation. Is that fair to say?
I think so. I think it's just about time we make all these fights happen. You know what I mean? There's still great fights everywhere. Callum Smith, I don't know if he's going to go back to 168, but that would be a great fight to be made too. Billy Joe Sanders, who else? Caleb Plant, Canelo. There's just so much great fights to be made here. You know what I mean? So I feel like, and I think by the next 2 years, I mean, there's going to be a lot of great fights in super middleweight division, because we're all trying to fight each other, like you said. So none of us are scared of each other. So we're just willing to make a name for ourselves now.
David, can you give me an update on what's going on between you potentially and Jermall Charlo? I know that you said the last time we talked here on Instagram Live, I want Jermall Charlo. That's who I want. Obviously, that didn't happen, but what is the status of you and a potential Jermall Charlo matchup? Is it just kind of, something that didn't happen or might happen next year? Have you heard any rumblings?
Honestly, bro, to be honest, I don't even want to give my fans an impression or like if there's any life in that fight. I haven't heard anything. I feel like if we would have made that fight happen the last time when I fought Ronald Ellis, I think the promotion, all that, it was perfect. So it should have been made right after then, I think. But now I think everybody, including Jermall Charlo, he's waiting on a fight with Canelo. You know what I mean? So everybody's just looking to get that fight with Canelo. But I feel like after Canelo, if Canelo doesn't give you the fight, then what? So he said he was going to knock me out. He made it seem like it was an easy task to do. But, if it would have been an easy task to do, he would have took it. But, I have nothing else to say for that. I'm willing to fight, like I said. And we'll see what happens. I'm still going to be here for a long, long time. So I'm still willing to make that fight happen. But if they're not, then there's only so much I could do.
You're a very exciting and you bring action all the time that you step inside the ring. Depending on what happens on Saturday with Canelo and Caleb Plant, do you feel then that you are one of the quote-unquote, because everyone talks about money as, it's price fighting, so you want to maximize what you make on your fight purse. Do you think that you're the kind of guy that can entice some of those bigger names, if you don't get a title shot next, to fight you because of the financial ramifications that you bring with that kind of fight? Because I think you and Jermall Charlo, even without a belt on the line, is still a high-quality matchup, brings a lot of money into the table, and fans anywhere would be clamoring to see that fight even without championship gold on the line.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's what I'm saying. If it was money he was looking for, we could have made a good paycheck, both of us, and to make the fight even more interesting, I'm sure the WBC would have loved to make it an interim title. The winner fights Canelo. It's a perfect scenario. But I feel like some of these fighters are a little bit too greedy. You know what I mean? I think $3-4 million would be more than enough, even $2 million. But if you look at the other fighters, some of these fighters are just a little bit too greedy. First things first, you gotta take the opportunity, win the opportunity, and then bigger money comes from that. I think these fighters, everybody just wants tens of millions of dollars to make a fight happen, and that's why sometimes fights don't happen, because you know, that's a lot of money, tens of $millions. And, you know, a lot of these fighters haven't even done nothing, even earned that type of money. If you look at the other side, the UFC, you know, all these dudes are fighting each other, and they don't even get a fraction of what we get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get world champions getting paid $200,000. You know, me, when I was coming up, when I was a contender, I made that $200,000, and I was fighting the ranked number 8. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of these fighters need to be more grateful, and, you know, just if you want more money, take more risks. And I think the opportunity and the money comes with that. But, like, I mean, I'm ready to fight whoever. You know what I mean? If I got to fight a hard fight and take a little bit less money and then, you know, prove myself and then win an opportunity and then that's when I have the opportunity to make more money, then I'm all up for it. It's not all about the money no more. You know what I mean? I think everybody in PBC is making good money. So, I don't know. Something has to change here. You know, a lot of these people are asking just way too much money to fight each other. And I think part of it is because they're scared and they don't want to take an L. You know what I mean? But if you're confident in yourself and confident in your skills, you shouldn't be scared of nothing. You know, take the little bit of pay cut, but then after that, you know, you make more money, and that's just the way it goes. You know, it's like you asking for a promotion, not doing the job, but you still want the extra money that comes with the promotion without doing the job. You know what I mean? And that's just the way I see it.
So it sounds like you want to be active next year in 2022, David. I mean, you give me very old school vibes, throwback fighter vibes from back in the 70s and the 80s. It sounds to me like you want to be active next year and fight multiple times a year.
Yeah, definitely. I want to be active, man. I just want to be back in the mix, too. I just want to, like I said, I miss being in there fighting with the crowd and all that stuff. And you know, it's gonna be a treat for me to fight, you know, in front of all the fight in front of all the people and all the live audience. I haven't fought that in 2 years, so I just want to be back in the mix again. So if I could get 3 fights and, you know, even possibly taking less money and to be guaranteed more fights, then that's exactly what I want to do. I just want to be in the mix, and I want to give the fans, you know, the great fights. You know, I have a lot to offer, so I just want to give them the most of me I can possibly get them.
Do you feel better when you fight multiple times a year because it keeps you sharp and it keeps you in the gym and into a rhythm?
Yeah, I feel like so. I feel so. I think, and the thing about it too, bro, I'm still young. You know, I'd rather just not wait around for so long and, you know, fight as much as possible. You know, that's what I really want to do. I want to fight as much times as possible and get that experience. And like I said, if I got to make my way up to top 5, top 10, and that's what I'm going to do. But like I said, I'm just a fighter at the end of the day. I love to fight. This is my job, and I just want to keep busy.
So I know you're a very proud father. As you've kind of grown into being a dad, has that changed your mentality or your style? Because even before your child was born, you've always had this savage-like mentality inside the boxing ring. Has that changed at all, David, by becoming a new father?
No, I feel like that's even made me even more hungrier. And, you know, now I really got to make my point because, you know, I have a son to look after. And all this stuff I'm doing is for him at the end of the day. So I got to be even more vicious and more, you know, brutal in the ring to make sure none of my stuff gets taken away from me, you know. So this is what you know what I mean? I just want to give my son a better life, the life I never had. And, you know, this is my job. I got to provide. So this is the only way I know how to provide, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Have you thought about your ring walk next week in your hometown of Phoenix with the crowd going crazy as you get ready with that big, you know, chado hat that you have on and the traditional Mexican attire that you wear to the ring so eloquently? Have you thought about that ring walk?
I've been thinking of that for 3 months, you know, so I'm excited. I'm just excited to see the people, hear the people roar, and just being in there again, man. Like I said, I haven't fought with crowd in 2 years. And this crowd, this time, I think like 13,000, 14,000 tickets have sold. So it's going to be crazy, man. The ambience and the energy that the crowd is going to give me is going to be like nothing else. And I'm very excited to return back home.
Did you think that even at 24 years of age that you'd be headlining where the Phoenix Suns play? I mean, you grew up there in the Arizona area, but did you ever think that you'd be headlining so early in your career or, you know, as from an age standpoint?
At 24, I didn't think I already accomplished this much at 24 years old. But, you know, I knew myself if I was going to do boxing, I was going to work as hard, work harder than anybody, and I've worked my butt off, and everything has been perfect, and I've already accomplished so much. But in my head, I don't feel like I haven't really accomplished anything. But we're gonna keep working. The sky's the limit. I feel like I've had a great career so far, but now it's to put in even more work. And I never imagined, fighting in Phoenix, Arizona, in front of all my fans, in front of all my friends, in the Phoenix Suns arena. So, I mean, this is definitely a treat for myself. It's something I've earned, and I'm just looking forward to it, man.
Final question, David. In a perfect world, how does the fight end next week between you and Kyrone Davis in Phoenix?
It ends with me being as brutal as I could be, punishing Kyrone Davis. I don't know if he's going to give a good fight, if he's not going to give a good fight, but I'm going to be ready for anything. I'm just expect the same thing you always expect when you see my fights. Brutal body shots, brutal jabs, brutal combinations, and, we're definitely going to make it a show for all my people in Phoenix, Arizona.
And Canelo and Caleb Plant, what is your prediction on that one, sir?
I think Canelo by knockout in the 7th or 8th round.
Okay. Awesome. Well, David, thank you so much for your predictions, my man. Always a pleasure. All the best to you and your family. We'll see you next week in your hometown of Phoenix, Arizona.
Thank you, brother. See you guys soon.